everybody. This is Xantoné Blacq. Thank you for joining me here. Today, I'm going to be creating a soul track using instruments from the Absolute 5 collection by Steinberg. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first place that I started off was on the drums. So I laid down a drum track and I did that using Groove Agent 5. And as you can see, if you look on the screen here, we've got a full kit there and it's got this kind of sound. So it's an acoustic kit. It's got a nice fat snare. What I did was to take this kit, program it beforehand, and also to add an additional kick layer to give it more of a modern sound. And that was what we did, and it sounds something like this. Now you'll hear that there's some finger snaps as well, and that kick layer, something just to give it a bit more of a modern sound. And that is yours truly. So I sang some BVs as well beforehand, because if I'd done that live now, it would have taken just too long to do the whole thing. So there's some BVs and the drums. Okay, so you get the idea. And I love the graphic of Groove Agent where as each of the instruments is being hit, you can actually see some movement. So if you look at the kick drum, you can see the drum head moving when it's hit. So I'm just gonna give you a little insight to the interface that shows you the electronic kick that I layered in as well. So there's the waveform there. And you've got something that's kind of like a drum machine set of pads. And also, so we got that guy going on. Okay, and if I move down and I come to the snaps and I do the same, you can see this is what we're dealing with. So we've got a stereo file. So it's just a simple layering trick, but it just adds that extra level of weight and oomph and sparkle, snap to the whole thing. That's it. So now let's take a look at the bass, which is the first instrument. Actually, no, I'm gonna go slightly sideways here. I like to actually, as much as the drums have been done and you'd think the bass might be the next thing to lay down, I feel like the bass as an instrument is the cross section between rhythm section and harmony. So I like to have some harmony down as well. There's already some rhythm down, and I'd like to have some harmony down. So I'm gonna start off with keys. And for this, I'm gonna be using the Amped Elektra, which sounds something like this, the preset that I've chosen. You know? I really like this. It's got that 70s, 60s, 70s electric piano vibe. It's got the tremolo added to it. So, and it's got like that bottom end as well as the brightness. So this is what I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna start recording like this. Okay, so I've laid down the keys and now I'm going to lay down the bass, and I'm going to use the electric bass. And in this case, I'm using the setting of the MM bass. I'm sure you can work out what that probably is. All right, and it goes like this. I've recorded the bass with electric bass, and now I'm going to record some piano because I just want to get a bit more depth with the keys. And in this case, I'm going to use Eagle from HALion Sonic 3. And what I've got here is I've got this parameter that allows me to choose the tone, whether I want it really in the middle, hard, which I don't want it. I don't want it hard. And I think that's probably too soft. So I think actually the default is about right for me, for what I want to do. I'd like to add some reverb to my piano here. And what do you know? Here it is. We got reverb mix here. And I'm going to take that up because basically I want this to be more of a floating sound. And in fact, what I'm going to get this to do is to substitute like the guitar sound almost. So I'm going to go something like, play it more rhythmically, and that's the vibe. Okay, so let's take it back to the top, and here we go. Yeah, okay. So that's the piano part laid down. And what I would like to do now is to add some sprinkles to the whole thing. Some magic fairy dust. And I'm going to come across to a sound which you could use a celesta, you could use bells, you could use all manner of things. So I'm going to be using the Retrologue, and I'm going to be using some sounds from the Sounds of Soul expansion. And this one here has actually got a kind of vibe like Man in the Mirror. So this is called In the Mirror Bells. All right, let's go for it. So now I'm going to add an atmosphere to this with a pad, and I'm going to go to the Retrologue. I'm going to be using a sound called Loving You Bad Pad, which sounds like this. And it's from the Sounds of Soul expansion. So here we go. We're going to get into this now. Okay, now I want to sprinkle just a little bit of extra fairy dust, and I'm going to use a harp type sound. You could use an acoustic harp kind of sound, or in this case, I'm going to use the Come and Talk bells on Retrologue, again from the Sounds of Soul expansion. And the trick that I do here is, as you will know, the black keys on a keyboard form a pentatonic scale. And that's the thing that you'd normally do a gliss with. So I put my foot down on the sustain pedal, and I just like stroke down, or that way, whichever way. So the challenge is to work out which key you want those black notes to be in, and to basically transpose to that particular key. So in this case, I'm about to go into a B flat sus chord, which really exists in E flat major. So I'm going to transpose this, which is already in G flat. I'm going to transpose it down 3 semitones. So F, E natural, E flat. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And by doing that, I'll be in key. And I'm just going to do this just to the point where we're just about to transition from the verse going into the bridge. Okay, here we go, pre-chorus. And that's it. It's just a wash that you do. And it starts off kind of in the wrong key initially. It starts off in that thing with C, and then it evolves out into the E flat or C minor. I guess you can look at it that way as well. So that's it, you know? And you just put that across the different points of the track. And next up, we add the vocals, the secret sauce. All right, let's do it. Saw you and felt a shock running through me. Heard you, your voice sounds just like ecstasy. Felt you walking, standing in front of me. This thing that we are feeling is strong. But girl, please know before we start carrying on, I don't wanna owe you love. Not enough. If you give me everything, it'll be way too much. So please just give me some of your love. Okay, so thank you very, very much for joining me today, tonight, whatever time it is, wherever you are, and have lots of fun with Absolute 5. Catch you the next time. Bye.